So, and then what's her? Sorry, what's her name? Like literally, what's her name? What's her name?
Priyanka.
No, not her. Karime.
What? No crean que van a leer sin mí. Welcome to yet another Drag Race review podcast. I'm your host, Terry Blas.
And I am Chucho Quintero.
And this is the J Word, your home for all things Drag Race Mexico. Let me explain my look. I don't know if it's a new segment. But if you,
explaining Terry's look.
If you haven't seen this episode 4, the Rusical, if you haven't seen it, obviously stop this right now. Go watch it. Spoiler, spoiler, spoiler. But this is in honor of our fallen sister who left the show, and we're going to talk about it. So yeah, that's what I'm doing, and that's what I'm giving today. How are you?
I'm great. I'm very excited.
Good. Should we get into some housekeeping?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay. So the first thing that happened this past week in the Latina sphere was Denali was on Pit Stop with Bianca Del Rio. It's pretty funny. You don't usually hear Denali talking in Spanish on Drag Race, and she did in this. It was kind of cute. It's funny. Besides that, on All Stars this past week, they did a talent show. They brought all the queens back for the Fame Games.
I was waiting for that because like this season of All Stars has had like 3 different endings. It just doesn't end, not because it's too long, but because it's just like, oh, the ending is coming, and then it's not, and then you're like, oh,
what is this?
The ending, and then it doesn't. It's like the Lord of the Rings. And,
yeah, I was just gonna say that.
Yeah, and so by the time we had like a top 3, I was like, oh, there's not gonna be a talent show. Like, how can you do All Stars without a talent show? Because honestly, talent shows should be the first episode on All Stars because it's the one that reintroduces you to queens that you haven't been following in years.
Yeah.
But anyway,
or some people who may not have ever seen that queen.
Yes,
they've come
exactly.
Late to Drag
so anyway, we finally got the talent show.
Yeah, so I mean, we mentioned that because Monica, Naisha, James, Jessica, and Candy, they all did talent show stuff on All Stars. So check that out. There was an announcement made also about Drag Race Brasil, and the host. Did you hear who the host is?
Yes, of course.
Tell me, Chucho. Tell me.
It's I've never known how to pronounce it. I guess it's Drag Queen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Drag Queen, yes, the winner of Queen of the Universe season 1, and the great thing about this is that so we all know that they did Drag Race Mexico, Drag Race Brazil, and Drag Race Germany. It's just a weird combination. They all shot them in Colombia, so they shot the 3 seasons in Colombia, and and so we were talking about when we did our first episode about how maybe they use the same sets but they will redecorate them or something.
Yeah.
And we're like, well, I guess we won't know until we see all the seasons. But like they showed us a preview of like the host of Drag Race Brazil, and it's the same set they used and the same kind of lighting and the same kind of editing, and it's all the same that they used with Valentina and Lolita. But instead of being red, like everything was red with them, this is green because it's for Brazil. But it's the same concept and the same everything. So like, I guess it's the same like production team or something.
Wait, I haven't seen it. So are there like cactuses and like in the Mexico like Meet the Queens thing? There was all those cactuses and then like the big alebrije from Coco.
But there was no. But I'm talking specifically because this is just for the host. Remember that there was like a car and they were like on top of the car.
Oh yeah.
And there were like some plants and knickknacks and stuff, but everything was kind of red. And it was very dark and it was only like a spotlight or something like that.
Okay.
It's that, but green. There's a car, there's like plants and everything on the spotlight, but it's green. Yeah.
Saving on the production cost, right?
Yeah.
So they're going to use the same exact set for Germany, but it'll be like what?
Yellow?
Blue? Yeah, yellow.
Yeah.
Whatever. But hey, we're getting Drag Race Brazil, and that's exciting. I think Brazilian drag
Yes.
is at least from what I've seen, which is probably a stereotype, seems very extravagant, very elaborate. And I'm sure that some queens do that, but I'm excited to see what else Brazil brings, because I don't want to just go off of like, you know, the expected what we think of, you know, Brazil. So that's exciting. That's really fun. Um, this past week there was also some continuation in the Pixie dress drama. I don't know
Yes.
about it, so I'm excited for you to tell me about it.
So it all started, I guess, like we told you last week, with Pixie saying like that was not the dress that I wanted to wear. This was the dress that I wanted to wear. And she tagged the designer, who is another drag queen, and he was like very, you know, very grateful, like, oh, you did a great job, blah blah blah. But then apparently throughout the week, Margaret was on a review show with other Mexican queens, and she was just like, oh yeah, Pixie couldn't wear her dress because her designer didn't finish it on time. And they were like, oh girl, blah blah blah, you know, whatever. From La Mas Draga, we know that that happens a lot. So I guess
Oh,
it was just yet another designer drama like on La Mas Draga. But then the designer clapped back and she was like, do not talk if you don't know the whole story. And so the designer was like, once Pixie came back from Drag Race Mexico, she told me, can you make this dress for me? And I did. And that's what's shown on the photos. So, and we were like, okay, and kind
that
of
doesn't make sense then.
yes, but that's when Pixie added some more information, and Pixie explained the whole thing, which is, so the dress that I wanted to wear, I couldn't wear it for undisclosed reasons. She's still not telling us, and that's why I had the other one made, the one that we saw on the runway, which she's calling the rebozo dress because it's made out of a rebozo.
Yeah, yeah.
And then she did come back, and she asked this drag queen to make the dress that we saw in the pictures. So the dress that we saw in the pictures that we were like, oh my god, this is amazing, this should have been on Drag Race, that didn't even travel to Colombia. That was made after the show was shot.
So then why would Margaret think she couldn't wear that dress? Like it wasn't even made yet.
Because she doesn't know, like there are two designers involved in this, one that we don't know because we haven't heard that part of the story, and the other one who was mentioned by mistake by Margaret, and that's the one who clapped back.
There's something shady happening here because
but anyway, the point is
sense.
the point is like technically we haven't seen the dress that she was supposed to wear. That's the thing.
Oh, okay.
That the one that we saw last week was made after the fact.
Okay.
But
Gotcha.
according to Pixie, it looks kind of like the same.
So the one that was made after the fact has kind of nothing to do with this story.
I mean,
like,
no,
because it's not the dress that she was supposed to wear.
Exactly, but Margaret made it part of the story by mistakenly coming for this queen, and she was like, no, that's not how it happened.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know.
So we did too, because I thought that from what Pixie said online that she was supposed to wear that dress.
I mean, Pixie says that dress that she made after the fact is basically the one that she was going to wear. Like it's kind of like the same concept, the same everything. Yeah.
Oh, so maybe the other one that she was going to wear, the designer didn't ever really make it or finish it, so she had someone else make it. Who knows? Interesting. Okay. The next thing for housekeeping is that there is a drag queen, a Latina I've discovered. She's from Brazil. Her name is Savannah Drag on Instagram. You can look up Savannah Drag and she should come up. But also, the reason I mention her isn't just because I discovered her drag and it's amazing, which it is, but it's because she is also known on Instagram as Danny Els, like it's spelled Danyelss. And she's an illustrator. And she was hired to draw all of the characters, the side characters, the whatever, and the main characters from the new Dungeons and Drag Queens show on Dropout by Dimension 20, which I'm sorry, I'm like so excited about it that I can't even talk. But the players are Jujubee, Bob, Alaska, and Monet. It's really fun. It's like, it seems to be a big hit. I hope like everybody who watches it is already posting online about like do another season. You know, it's really, really fun. And I'm having a blast watching it. And it's just so cool to see illustrations that are of drag queens D&D characters drawn by a drag queen. Like, it's really cool. So check those out. Show Savannah some love on both of her Instagram accounts. The next thing that we have for housekeeping is very interesting. Sometimes when I watch Drag Race, I have friends over, we're all watching it on my TV. You know, I have a WoW Presents Plus account, but some of my friends like probably don't, right? And so what we have, if you are someone who watches Drag Race in a group or you've been thinking about getting your own WoW Presents Plus account, we have a little gift for you. If you're not already subscribed, now you can use a code that we have been given, a code of Mexico, all in caps, for 20% off of your first month of WoW Presents Plus. So you can use that code and go get a cheaper WoW Presents Plus account for the first month.
To watch
Do it.
every single Drag Race show.
And that way you can watch Mexico and follow along with us.
Yes.
All right. Well, this is episode 4. And the queens enter the workroom in this episode. They read Vermelia's mirror message, which says, Reinas, denlo todo porque sé que todas están cabronas. Siempre pueden contar conmigo. A ver, no, Vermelha Noir. Basically, that just says like queens, give it your all. You're all, you know, badasses. You can always count on me, Vermelha. So that's sweet. That's nice. The next day, the Estelares walk in after everybody, like shadily reading the rest of the queens, right?
Yes, it was like, okay, you do your little skit, and we're gonna be in the back, like judging you.
Well, what's funny is that they're doing that, and they're kind of like, girl, they're judgy. But then it cuts to Margaret in a confessional throwing shade at them, like, I don't know who they think they are, but
yeah, I love that she was like, no, but at the same time, I love that she was like, I mean, they're my friends, but like they haven't done much in the competition, and I'm like, the only winners of challenges are in the Las Estelares. So like, yeah. What are you talking about? Yeah.
Yep.
So okay. So there's a quick thing that is, I guess, very specifically Mexican. Regarding their skit, you know, the thing that they did when they were walking into the workroom, which is that they walked kind of like a escolta. So escolta, I don't know if there's an equivalent like in other countries, but it's kind of like a flag guard. Is that a thing in the US? Like,
flag, yeah.
Well, but I guess it's kind of like a military thing. But here in Mexico, we have it at school. Because what we do from very early on, it's that the 5 or 6 kids with the best grades of the year, they get to be on the flag guard. That is kind of like every single Monday we have a ceremony to honor the flag, the Mexican flag, and you know, to do like special dates and special like events and things like that. But like it's every single Monday every week, and you stand there under the sun and you sing the national anthem and you pledge allegiance to the flag, you know, the Mexican flag, and then, you know, the 6 kids are the ones who are like kind of like protecting the flag, and they do kind of like a little march around the yard, the schoolyard. And it's a great honor. I gotta be honest. I can say that because I was always in the flag guard.
Listen,
I was always in the escolta because I always had the best grades all through elementary school. but
she was a flag girl, y'all.
yes.
In the states, we don't do no ceremony. They just force everyone to pledge allegiance to the
I
flag
know.
like every day.
So yeah. So they were doing basically like a escolta, and yeah. And so also they mentioned like paso redoblado, which is like oh god, I just translated it in a movie a while ago and I can't remember. But it's just kind of like a step, like a military step, right?
Mhm.
But then redoblado is kind of like it has to do with like a double step, you know, that's why it's redoblado. But they said it like redoblada, so it's like again the limp wrist, and that was kind of like the pun that they did with this. So yeah, that's my
Okay.
escolta story. So
Oh,
if you were in the escolta at school, comment below.
Miss Escolta, that's your drag name. Yeah, so Cristian Peralta Transformista wants to know
Thank you.
who among them is a dancer. And she's very like, this for me in this episode, this is like the beginning, and she's been like this in previous episodes, but in this episode anyway, this is the beginning of her basically like under the delusion that she's the third host of this show. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
She's like, no, not which one of you likes to dance. I'm asking you
Yes.
which one of you
No, too
professionally.
big. Yeah.
Like, like Senora Transformista, she's very like she already thinks she has won,
Yes.
and very much might. But yeah, there's a lot of attitude coming from.
I love that it just reminded me of that I thought it was yes, it's on Glamazonian Airways on the second episode of season 7. And they're like, so who's a dancer? And Violet is like, I'm not a dancer, but I'm not a dancer.
Yeah.
And Trixie again is like, well, so are you a dancer?
Nuestra Dolores Platano, she walks in. She introduces the mini reto, which is reading. Was there like some sort of, because she said barrer, and then she like looked down and like, okay, so for me, I'm like, that means sweeping, right?
Yes, it does.
So explain this to me real quick.
So okay, so we don't actually like I mean, here in Drag Race Mexico and in Drag Race España, we have been using leer the same way that you're using it, because it's like, well, we all know from Drag Race that that's reading, and you know,
yeah.
shade comes from reading and blah blah blah. So we're using leer now, apparently, but in Mexico we don't use leer, we use bufar. So bufar is kind of like, bufar is literally like doing this sound with your nose, like an animal.
Oh.
But we use it to mean like reading, literally, like we don't, that the same kind of like throwing shade and doing like, you know, kind of a funny, clever insult or something like that. That's what we say when we say bufar.
Oh.
And then we also have barrer. Barrer is basically like, you know, staring you down, like looking down and up, you know, with your eyes.
Mm.
That's barrer, because you're literally sweeping with your eyelashes.
Mm.
And so, you know, that's not exclusively gay, that's kind of like a general word of like oh, she swept me up and down, you know, like when I walked in or whatever. And so that's why Lolita is being like, you know, you have to know how to sweep and then how to read, you know.
Gotcha. Yeah, so Lolita Dolores, I never know what to call her now. She introduces this reading challenge, and Valentina joins them with her like attitude of, oh, you thought you were gonna do this without me? And the Prick crew brings in reading glasses. They are, I want to just mention it because I think it's really cute. They're wearing Speedos with fabric suspenders attached to the Speedo and glasses, and it's super cute.
Yeah.
So we didn't get a lot of reads from each queen, but you're going to take us through some of them, and I'll let you know sort of some of my thoughts, and if any of them like were kind of confusing to me. So
yeah,
let's do it.
So very quickly, first off was Serena, and she told Argenis, Elvis Crespo, I mean Argenis, sister, your hair, it is indeed very Crespo. So who is Elvis Crespo? Elvis Crespo is a merengue singer, and so basically Crespo also means kind of like, you know, like fucked up hair. And so that's his last name, but that's also like, you know,
Yeah.
Argenis' hair, according to Serena. And then Valentina joined in because she said like, ay, suave, hermana. Suavemente. So Suavemente, for those of you who don't know, is Elvis Crespo's most famous song.
This song.
And so she was basically going like, you know, like go easy on her, but at the same time going like, you know, also throwing shade at her Argenis.
That's funny.
And then Lady Quero said to Regina, she said, I know you're a great, great singer. And why wouldn't you be, you know, with all these years of opening your throat wide? So that was clever.
Yeah.
And then we get, well, that's where we got Valentina's laugh. And then we got Margaret, who got 2 reads. One of them was for Cristian, and it was like, you're like a sea turtle because you're, you know, from the Paleolithical era, and because you're full of polymers.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting that they showed 2 of hers, but we'll see why.
I mean, and then Margaret said to Argenis, you're very bitchy, you know, you're such a bitch, but you're also Cristian's lapdog, you know, and that kind of makes sense in Spanish because like bitch and dog are the same word but with a different letter. So perra, perro, you know, but like Margaret opened the flood doors for everybody to start calling Argenis a lapdog. Like specifically, like that's a very specific read to call, like 3 people call her that. So
well, and we'll see as the reads go on and into the beginning of the Maxi Reto, like Argenis is really upset by everyone's reads.
Yeah.
She's giving you some Alexis Michelle energy here.
Yes and no. So I feel like there's a difference between getting offended and getting hurt. You know what I mean? Like I feel like Alexis got offended, like, oh, they're calling me fat, and she threw a fit. But I feel like Argenis, you know, without saying it, like without like complaining that much, she looked hurt. You know what I mean?
Sure, but both of them should have been like, bitch, it's the reading challenge, whatever.
Yeah, I know. Well, anyway. And then we got Pixie, who again called Argenis like, oh, you're such a bitch, you know, because you have a great pair of legs. But remember that this is a solo competition and not a lapdog competition. Again, calling her a lapdog. And then Cristian joining the lapdog extravaganza. And she said to Argenis, mi vida hermosa, I don't know why they're calling you a lapdog, but hermosa, come here and help me take off these glasses.
She's furthering the delusion that she's hosting here for a second.
Yes. Also, Cristian had another one for Matraka, and this is a controversial one because she said, I love your look. It's 100% Mexican, and it fits your face like, you know, like a piece of Mexican artisanal art. So that's kind of like, okay, let's say it's straight up, it's racist. You know, it's racist to call some, because it's a very common kind of like racist jab, microaggression, you could say, to call someone a cara de artesanía, which is like a face, like an artisanal piece of folk art, because it's literally saying that you look, you know, like something that is made out of clay, you know. So it's I don't know. It's just something that I know that 10 years ago would have been funny, but I feel like, for example, in my case, when I heard that, I was like, you know, it right in front of my salad, right in 2023, like it was. And our friend Johnny Carmona actually tweeted that, like 2023, and we're still saying that. Like it's just something that I know that I'm sure that Matraka didn't take it like too seriously. It was a reading challenge, whatever. And you know, we've seen reads on Drag Race that are calling you like fat, whore, or something like that. But it's kind of like, in this context of Drag Race Mexico, it's not a very good read. So yeah.
Yeah.
And then we have Regina, who said to Serena, Serena Morena, my love, I've learned so much from you of the things that I shouldn't be doing. And then Argenis walked up for it was her turn, and Argenis was like, "Oh, I'm very." She said "fea," which is ugly, but in this case, she was talking about like I'm very bad, at reading. But she said like I'm soy muy fea para el buffet. So and Gala was like, "Yeah, and your face is too." So it was like, yeah, it was kind of like a read out of turn, but yeah. And then, precisely, Argenis wasn't very good because she literally choked and she didn't even finish the read.
Literally crickets.
Yes. So basically, Argenis didn't say anything. And then Cristian joined in and was like, just call her like fea, fea, fea. Like just like she gave the read to Argenis for Serena. Like call her ugly, ugly, ugly.
If I were Dolores or Valentina, I would have been like, Cristian, that's my
stop
job.
hosting.
That's my line. Enough.
But also,
I mentioned this because it. I don't know why.
It's gonna be a thing. It's gonna be.
But I find it really off-putting.
Yeah. So the fea, 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 it's a reference to a meme. Well, not even a meme. It's a viral video from Mexico where this unhinged woman on the subway, like all unhinged people go viral on the subway, and she was fighting this other woman, and then the police came here in Mexico City, and so they got her out, but she was the subway was like, completely halted, and so the woman was still standing at the door because the doors were open and the subway wasn't running and anything. And so she got in like 1,000 insults to this other woman, and the police weren't removing her or anything. So she got like a whole list of insults, and that kind of like became a meme because she was like, fea, 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 Heraclea, Heraclea. We don't know what Heraclea means. Apparently, it means like it's an old school word for whore, but like
what a great drag name.
Exactly. And so like she also said like suck my pussy, like things that very vulgar things, but then it became kind of like a running joke of like calling someone like fea, 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 Heraclea, Heraclea, fea, so whatever. So that's what Cristian was referencing. And then we got Matraka going like, the only thing thicker than Pixie's dick are Galavaro's toes. Yeah.
And then someone else said, like maybe it was Cristian, like, and they're hairy.
Yes. Okay, I love that Pixie's dick has had 2 mentions on the season.
Yeah.
And then Gala said, Gala tried to read Valentina and Lolita by recycling a read from Canada's Drag Race.
I'm very grateful that we have this opportunity to do Drag Race, so finally a Canadian can win Drag Race. Thank you.
And that's basically what Gala said, like, Valentina, Lolita, aren't you glad that a Mexican is finally going to win Drag Race and whatever? Yeah.
And Lolita's like, it's not going to be you, bitch.
Definitely.
Not if you keep that up. That was kind of funny.
So those were the reads. They were kind of like weight sauce, I guess.
Yeah, they're all right. Margaret wins the mini challenge, the reading challenge, and it's her second mini reto win of 4 so far. I mean, of 4 episodes. I think they've only done 3 mini challenges. Yeah. So then from there they introduced the maxi reto, which this week is the Rusical. I can look at your face already. This Rusical is Dragapulco Shore. This is the moment. do you wanna give?
Okay, so here's the thing.
You want to enlighten us?
Yes. So I already said something last episode, but we had to cut it. So this is basically, my rant once again, which is that this was a great opportunity to do something so iconically Mexican and gay Mexican. And they just, they dropped the ball because they just did an Acapulco Shore Rusical. Acapulco Shore is basically the Acapulco version of Jersey Shore. Imagine, like, I can't picture like Drag Race doing a Jersey Shore musical. There's nothing queer about Acapulco Shore, like literally nothing. Like it's not queer culture, it's not gay culture. Like gay people don't watch Acapulco Shore. I'm sure some of them do, but like it's not something that we consider iconic here in Mexico for the gay community in Mexico. So
Yeah.
they could have done, I said last week that they could have done like Juan Gabriel's Life. They could have done like Thalia versus Paulina Rubio because there's a rivalry there. They could have done like, I don't know. They could have done so many things and they literally just threw it away because, let's be honest, they were doing some sort of like cross promotion because it's like it's Acapulco Shore, it's from MTV and that's Viacom and that's like, you know, Drag Race. So
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. That was the reasoning behind it, I guess.
So that was very disappointing that had me like very pissed off last week when we saw the preview, and also that the judge was going to be somebody from Acapulco Shore instead of, you know, somebody who actually sang or danced. But the musical was pretty good. So at the end of the day, I was like, this is even more disappointing now, more frustrating, because the queens were great. The queens can sing, the queens can dance.
Well, before we get into the musical, because I felt the same way. But before we get into it, let's do a few things leading up to it, because they announced, like you said, that Karima from Acapulco Shore is the guest judge. We get Cristian Peralta Transformista fighting with Regina over the lead role, right? Like they both want it.
And I was think like, please make them audition.
Like, oh, I know. Like I was waiting for it, but they didn't do that. But Regina in confessional seemed like, look, that's the role I want. I'll do it. What do you want me to do to get it? Like, I'll do it. And so that's kind of great. Eventually, Regina gets the lead role. Then they introduce him to their choreographer, who is Nelson Parra, and he like does this you know, like a session with them, showing them sort of what to do. Pixie's struggling a little bit with like where to put her feet and how her hand is supposed to be moving, whatever. Lolita tries to help. But they don't spend a lot of time. Like I was surprised that like literally like after that, boom. And then it's the runway and like they're gonna do the musical.
I think we are spoiled with the 90-minute episodes on Drag Race because these have been 60-minute episodes. And the thing about that is that then we didn't get them recording the songs. We didn't get them like doing other numbers. Like we didn't get anything. And also the Rusical was kind of long, to be honest.
It was long. I would rather a shorter Rusical and we get to see them recording the song and you know that stuff. Like that's kind of what I want to see. But yeah, the Rusical I found it was passable. It was fine. It was okay. It was even good. Right, like they all sounded good.
I wouldn't even go as far as saying that it was great in terms of like the songs were catchy, they sounded great, like the choreography was great, like they were like it was a good Rusical about something I have no reference for.
That's what I mean. That's what I think you're trying to get at. Is that like when they all sounded great, when the songs were all fun, like it could have been if it had been a subject that like
Like imagine having this cast, having Regina Voce on your Drag Race cast and be like, yes, Acapulco Shore. That's the hill I want to die on. Like,
well, that's what we got.
So I was gonna say that also I loved that the moment the Rusical ended, because it was, let's say, a great Rusical, Valentina was so excited that she stood up and clapped, you know. She gave them a standing ovation, but that standing ovation was also like, see, Ru, I'm not wearing any sweatpants.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. How funny. Well, this week, the drama, story, fight, whatever of the week, there wasn't really much because, you know, like I said before, they got right to the mini challenge, but throughout this episode, Argeni seems to like be feeling really down, starting with the reading challenge. And then there's a moment where they're dishing out the roles where, again, Transformista, the third host of the season, is like, you know, put it together, baby, put some batteries in there. You got to get it together. Come on, you know, like trying to pump her up a little bit. And a few of the other ones are trying to be supportive and help her too. But we get that a little bit. And then like a few seconds of a rivalry between Regina and Cristian in fighting for that role, right?
Yes. But we predicted last week that Cristian and Regina's storyline might, you know, happen just the way that it happened in this episode, which what if they what if they Jan Regina next week and she's
Well, that's what I was
she's
thinking.
about to win
Yeah.
the Rusical and Cristian wins.
And Cristian wins, right?
Oh my God. Yeah.
Right, that's a storyline right there. So
That's gonna start a whole thing between them. And that's exactly what happened. So we predicted it.
even though Valentina referred to Regina as Queen of the Rusical, she still didn't win.
Perfect. Flawless. I love that.
Yeah.
And also, like, in my mind, I can imagine Regina months ago coming back from Drag Race, walking into the Menti Drags dressing room. You know, Rogelio Suarez is there, Jerry Velasquez is there, and she just goes, I lost the Rusical. I lost the one challenge that I was supposed to win.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the drama.
I mean, I guess the trade-off is you win. Oh, you didn't win, I guess, Queen of the Universe, right?
Exactly. That's the whole thing. Like, she
Never
hasn't
mind.
won a single drag singing competition. So what the fuck?
Well, at this point in the episode, they do the whole Rusical. We already talked about how we feel about it. It was fine, whatever. But then we transition after that into the runway theme, or the runway for the week. And the runway song this week is Cover Girl by RuPaul. Let's get into it.
So I gotta say that this has been the best runway we've had so far, you know, on this season.
I think so too.
Let's see what happens next. But so first off is Argenis, and she looks incredible. Like, she looks incredible.
I think this is amazing. Like, everything on it seems like how do I put this? It seems like a complete look.
She's giving me Sasha Colby.
Yes, I was gonna say that, with the high ponytail, with the makeup. Her makeup again is different. It's, you know, she's, I think, really cementing herself as a great makeup artist who can do a lot of different things. But the shoes with the outfit, like everything, nothing seems like it doesn't go together.
Mm-hmm.
And I love this. I think it's really great. She looks really, really incredible.
Yeah. So then we have Cristian Peralta Transformista Oficial, and she looks amazing. So here's the thing. I love the subtle reveal, you know, the Sharon Needles reveal, the Katia reveal, you know, the bank. That's those kind of reveals that are like, you know, you think that you've seen it all, but then I show you something else. You know what I mean? And so she does that with the teeth and the tongue and whatever, and she looks great. The thing that I hated, and that for some reason Valentina loved, is the nude illusion. Like, I just felt that it would look so fabricy. Like, it didn't give me the illusion. So I'm like, and Valentina loved it for some reason. I don't know. Maybe it looked different live.
Who knows? Like, maybe I do like this. I think she looks great. I think that the hair choice was smart with this. The prosthetics are, you know, like, they help with this illusion. The only thing that to me kind of like stood out in a strange way is that the gold of the like Quetzalcoatl is like different than the gold on her dress, and it's a little jarring, but it's still a great idea. It's still fun. It's still cool.
Oh yeah,
and
I was gonna say, yeah, you love Quetzalcoatl.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I liked it.
Also,
it's cool.
Also, we gotta say she's giving Judy.
Oh, she's giving Yuri. Yeah,
yeah,
so Yuri,
she's giving Judy. So anyway, next up,
is it giving Yuri?
Next up is Galavaro, and she looks great. I mean, yeah.
I love the outfit. I think that's cool. I think it's interesting.
This is such a Drag Race thing to say, but like, it doesn't excite me. You know?
Yeah. The thing that I could do without, I'm kind of sick of this hair. Like, Lolita is wearing this hair in this episode. Gala's wearing his hair. Like, to me, it gives
very
the same
Simone,
as,
but like not Simone.
Well, that's what I'm saying is, like, remember how all the girls used to wear the Marcel wave?
Yeah,
then it became this symmetrical, like, jewel,
and then the little thing here. Yeah.
And now it's this like crazy. And so I'm just kind of like over it. I don't know. Like, I imagine this outfit if she had worn the same colored wig, but like a sleek kind of like, you know, thing. I don't know. Like, it would be very different. This to me is giving what a lot of the outfits give this week, which is religion. Like they heard gold and they were like, oh, church. And so like that's one reason why I appreciate.
That's very Mexican.
So that's what I'm getting at is like we have talked, you and me, about how like and I think in one of our earliest episodes about like separating Catholicism from Mexicanism is somewhat difficult because it's ingrained culturally into
because
everyday life.
There's a point where Mexican culture is Catholic culture, but without the religion necessarily. You know what I mean? Like
right.
Not every single Mexican you will meet is gonna be religious, but most of them are gonna be a part of Catholic culture. Yeah.
But that's why I appreciate like what Christian did and coming up what Margaret did.
Yeah.
Because it's very much like that it didn't even cross their mind.
Mm-hmm.
It's like anyway. So yeah, this is really good. I like the outfit, but I'm not crazy about the hair.
Yeah. So next up, speaking of religion, we got Lady Keto. And I mean, she looks amazing. This is
it's really cool.
Wonderful look. Yeah, I loved it.
So the funny thing is that I think this is gorgeous, but it's also, it looks like it would be, Lady Keto might kill me, but it looks like it might be kind of comfy. Like you don't gotta tuck or cinch if you wear this outfit. Right?
Well, yes and no, because she did a reveal and we see a little bit more.
That was amazing. That was really cool. I did love the reveal.
Yeah, I love that the drag thing to do in Mexico, it's being like, yes, church, but then I'm a whore.
Yeah, exactly.
Then we get Margaret, and she is giving Golden Ursula.
I love this.
Yeah.
I think it's cool. And the way that it moved, the bottom portion moved when she walked down the runway was really cool. I want to point out that her makeup is very different than anything she's done before.
She's not wearing the Margaret eyebrows.
Right.
And we're not, okay, so we're not saying this as like praising her, like, yes, finally she didn't wear the eyebrows, because we like the eyebrows. We're praising the fact that she is giving the judges what they want, but like she has always done that. They're just
not acknowledging it.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, next up we have Matraka, and Matraka is giving Remedios Battle, and I love that. So Remedios Battle is a surrealist painter. She is not Mexican, but most of her work was here in Mexico, so she's known as a Mexican artist. But like, we love a queen that references Remedios Battle. Galavaro is called Battle because of Remedios Battle. And I'm obsessed with this. I love this. Yeah.
It looks really cool. I like it a lot. It's done really well.
Also, Matraka did really well in the Rusical. Like, why was she safe? I don't know. I would have definitely exchanged Gala for Matraka, in my opinion. Yeah. I feel like in Drag Race US, they would have told Gala that she was very one note because she was like a slutty, but like the same kind of slutty the whole time. And I feel like Matraka had a lot more jokes to deliver, with the whole Betty thing. And, so yeah, anyway. Then we have Pixie. And okay, here's the thing. So we're going to see first Pixie, how she walked out on the runway. And then we're going to see, boom, we're going to see the reveal. And so the thing is that her runway should have been flawless for her to stay out of the bottom two. You know what I mean? So she was definitely gonna be on the bottom three no matter what. But for her not to lip sync, the runway should have been like literally like flawless. And I feel like not wearing the white sleeves
all the way
was like her tragic mistake. You know what I mean? Like it was so easy. It was so easy to stand in front of the mirror and be like, my hands have to be white.
Yeah. Also, with the reveal, she has these bright yellow flowers over her nipples.
Yeah, she got kind of like
And
Senpaso huh?
yeah, but they don't, from afar, they don't fit with the red. Like they should have been gold.
The
You know?
boots were weird.
Yeah,
You
and
know
then
what I
I
mean?
also think that what this look suffers from is, in my opinion, it needs a dark lipstick. She's not wearing lipstick. And I know what she's going for, but I think
Yeah.
like on the runway, if you do a white face on the runway, you still need some dimension in it so that they can see something, right? Otherwise, it's too much blank. And
You know who does? You know,
unless you're Jimbo and you get away with that, fine. But like here, I think that there needed to be something else, right?
you know who has done great monochromatic looks that from afar you'd be like, oh, she's just like painting her face one color, but not really, is Trixie. Trixie has done Dr. Manhattan and that red devil look that she did for Halloween. And those are like, your face is blue, your face is red, but it has shading
Dimension
and contouring and yeah. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree. But like I said, like the idea was so perfect. Like the idea was so gaggy. Like that this should be like legendary. You know what I mean? Like, oh, she turned into like a sexy Jesus with boobs. But it was just like the tiny details that I feel like, I don't know, it would have kept her out of the bottom two. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, yeah. All right. So then we have Regina Boche. And okay, so here's the thing. I do feel like this is kind of simple and compared to the others. You know what I mean?
Her look?
Yes.
I don't feel that way.
I do. Like, it's literally like, I feel like it's one of those looks that you mentioned it with who? You mentioned it with Vermelha last runway, which is like a look that in this specific prompt, it looks like meh. But if you put it somewhere else, like in a regular runway, it would stand out. You know what I mean?
I don't think it's any less elaborate than Christian's.
Oh, but Christian had that added, like, you know, that extra layer of gaggy.
Yeah, but look at this amazing headpiece. I don't know. I like this. I think it's cool. Yeah. Anyway,
they were just looking for an excuse not to give her the win.
Yeah.
So this might be the first time that Serena looks great on the runway.
I think she looks good, but especially in this picture, I think that you can tell that what's lacking is there needs to be more of a shape, right? It's like very like
that has been her problem the entire time.
But imagine if this had a huge skirt or like what Margaret's wearing, or something that at the waist does come out really big. Like I think that would have helped, since this face thing is so big. I love that they were like cara, right? Like that joke.
That's one of my references. That let's remember that cara could mean expensive or could mean face. So yeah.
And also, what's funny is that Michelle Visage almost was Michelle Cara, because she wanted to be the face, right? So Michelle Cara, and she loves Spanish, but instead she went with Visage because someone told her, like, no, you need more of a whatever. Anyway.
And that's everyone.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, there's your runway. So I want to ask you.
Yes.
Who your cheetah of the week is.
Okay, so oh god, I hate being that. I hate being that guy, but I'm gonna be that guy that I just keep picking the same person. Matraka is my cheetah of the week, and she has been since episode 1. But like, you know what?
But there's nothing wrong with that. If you think she's slaying if you think she's slaying every
the
week,
thing is, like, she is, like, to me, like, because what happens is that she does something. She makes me feel something, like, with the ideas behind her looks. You know what I mean? Like when she walked in into the war room with like something made out of paliacates, like it made me feel kind of like how you felt when you saw Valentina in the wedding dress and things like that.
Yeah.
You know? So I feel like that's Matraka is kind of like making me feel things. So yeah.
All right, you heard it here. You heard it here, folks. Matraka makes Chucho feel things.
In and out of drag. So yeah.
my friend Ben last night when we were watching the episode said that Matraka in the confessionals looks like a sexy Keebler elf.
Okay.
Just Google it later.
Yeah.
So my cheetah of the week, I was considering Regina, even though you think it's very simple, right? But I have to go with when I see them on the runway. Which one did I like, or gasp, or do I want to draw that one, or like I like you, I have to have a sort of feeling. And for me this week, it was Margaret.
Oh, great!
I loved it. I thought the silhouette was really cool. It just was fun. It was great, and it was different than what a lot of other people did. So for me, Margaret.
So my chirpy of the week, and like same with last week, like everybody looks so great that nobody stands out of like, oh, that's terrible or whatever. I'm not going to give it to Serena because also I've been giving it to Serena since episode 1. And like, yeah, she could have seen her or anything or whatever, but like she looked pretty good this week. So I'm just gonna give it to Gala just because it just didn't excite me. Like to me, like it was just okay. And everybody else was great. Regina, like, was great, but to me, everybody else was even greater. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think like it was Gala. Gala was my chirpy of the week.
I kept thinking that Pixie might be my chirpy of the week, which kills me because obviously, hello.
Yeah.
And the more I thought about it, the more what you just said was that Gala's look was cool from here down, but it didn't really excite me. So
and
I'm
you
sorry.
know the week, so
yeah. So
yeah.
Sorry,
okay.
Sorry, churpia. Great.
It's like this week they're not even churpias of the week. They're like not so chidas of the week.
yeah, that's more accurate.
Yeah.
They announced that the winner of this week's Maxi Reto is, say it with me now, Cristian Peralta Transformista
Oficial.
This is Cristian's second Maxi Reto win. So she's feeling real good, y'all. She's right.
But like Gala said when she was walking to the back of the stage, Gala said like, I'm slowly walking towards the victory, and so that I don't get tired like some others front runners that are tired already, like Cristian. So yeah,
exactly. We're going into something next, which is the lip sync. Okay. Go. This week's lip sync for your life was between Pixie and Argenis to the song Mio by Paulina Rubio. Get into it, Chucho. First of all, there's some lore behind this song that you wanted to get into a little bit, so let's hear it.
Like imagine a song that has lore behind it. So here's the thing. Well, first of all, a Paulina Rubio song is appropriate for this runway. We actually mentioned it before, but I cut it from one of the episodes, so you don't know about it. But Paulina Rubio is known as La Chica Dorada, the golden girl, because she is blonde. And end of explanation. And but so obviously for a golden runway, they should have done like La Chica Dorada, so Paulina Rubio. Also, like the runway should have been called like Chicas Dorada, something like that. Girl, come on. Anyway.
Yeah.
So Mio is a Paulina Rubio song, which is basically about like, get away from my man. That man is mine. The song is called Mine. But the wonderful thing about this song is that it's directed at Alejandra Guzman.
Okay.
Yes, because the year before that, Alejandra Guzman released a song called A Güera, which is literally like, hey, you blondie, which was directed at Paulina Rubio.
Wow.
And that song is also like, don't you come close to my man, I'm going to get you if you get close to him. And the man in question is freaking Eric Rubin. And I'm going to put a photo here of like, how he used to look. But like, No, but like no, like you know, he's always been like generally attractive, but like to have like two of the most important pop stars in the country fighting over you, it's like, girl, calm down, everybody calm down,
Yeah.
okay? So anyway, that's the lore behind the song, that they literally went at it on the media. Like it's not an urban legend, it's acknowledged by them and by the producers and by the writers of the song and everybody, that it was like, hey, we both have a not enough relationship with this guy. And so it's like, first Alejandra Guzman was the first to go like, hey, you blondie, like, you know, get away from my man. And then Paulina Rubio reciprocated with like, hey, that man is mine. And so that's kind of been the story of these two songs throughout the years. But lately, artists have realized that obviously they cannot, you know, go on tour by themselves anymore. They have to pair up or maybe even group up. Like there's literally like tours of like all the 90s superstars getting together for one concert, and they're doing great as a group because maybe by themselves they wouldn't fill up an arena anymore. And so Alejandra Guzman and Paulina Rubio went on tour together.
That's amazing.
Obviously, the climatic moment of each of their concerts has been the Mio and A Güera mashup. They have a mashup of the two songs, and it is iconic because it's literally stars with like clips from the media going like with all the drama from back in the day, and then Paulina comes out and she sings Mio, and then Alejandra comes out, she sings A Güera, and then they both come out and they kind of sing a mashup, and then they hug, and Paulina goes like, this is about sorority. This is about girls not being pit against each other, and like we have to stick together, and gay womanhood and whatever. So incredible. I love that there's a whole thing behind these songs, and that it has been course corrected for like the new era where like we don't fight about you know, over men anymore, because like who cares about men? Yeah.
Nice. Well, I mean, this week's Serena Morena is on cloud 9 because she doesn't have to lip sync this week.
Yeah.
Before we get into a few little things about it, I'm curious as to whether or not you feel like they have now broken the like horrible lip sync curse on
Yes, 100%, but not with an iconic lip sync, just with a really great lip sync, which is like, this should have been lip sync number 1. You know what I mean? Or at least lip sync number 2. But like the fact that it is lip sync number 4, that's kind of disappointing, because it's like, well, you know, we started a little bit late, but at least we're getting there, you know? Because yes, the ponytail thing, girl, yes, that she's gonna be doing that all over the country, you know, for the following years. So yeah.
They knew the words this week.
That's where the bar is.
Pixie has a wig reveal.
Kind of.
And and Argenis flips her off during this.
that was a moment. Yes.
At the end of this lip sync, Argenis is on the ground, and I really thought there was going to be some sort of drama, or like, I can't breathe, or I don't want to be here, or whatever.
I mean,
that doesn't happen.
No, but like almost, like she was pretty, you know, vulnerable at that moment.
Well, and she says in the confessional right after that she doesn't like this. She doesn't want to look vulnerable. And I'm like, have you seen Drag Race, honey? Like, you have a much better chance. Have you
heard RuPaul saying that we need you to be vulnerable?
Tamar, do you watch the show? Like, well, unfortunately, would you like to tell us what happens?
Well, Pixie goes home, and I feel like I'm at peace with that. Like I said before, it's just like from a storyline perspective, it makes sense. You know what I mean? Yeah, she got jammed. So
yeah. Well, we wish her the best.
Yeah. Subscribe to her OnlyFans.
There you go.
It's pretty great.
Let's do explaining the reference, because you have a few things that you think you're surprised that I either didn't catch or didn't know.
Yeah, I mean, very quickly, like it was probably with Lady Quero. She was the one who looked more like a baby saint. But Valentina said Santo Niño de Panocha. So the Santo Niño de Atocha is a saint here in Mexico. We have baby saints and like child saints for some reason, and they're like little baby Jesuses, and like they are all dressed up like they're basically
like a drag queen.
they are literally in drag. They have like these huge eyelashes and makeup and everything, and so like they're all like very different kinds of like baby Jesuses, as Sofia Vergara would say in Mother Family, baby Jesus, and and so Santo Niño Atocha is one of them, and you throw a party to him and like you dress him up and blah blah blah. And so instead of Atocha is a city in Spain, apparently a town in Spain where like the Virgen de Atocha comes from, and so the baby Jesus that Virgen was holding for some reason came to Mexico or something, and that's where people started adoring him and whatever. But then like instead of Atocha, Valentina said panocha, which we know that it's pussy, or like a Mexican fried, fried food. But anyway, yeah, Santo Niño and panocha. And then Valentina started to say like, no quiero oro, ni quiero plata, which could have been another title for the runway, but whatever.
Right.
No quiero oro, no quiero plata. So, and before she could finish or do another pun, Karime interrupted by saying something, trashy, like, but I want you to open your legs or something. But no quiero oro ni quiero plata, yo lo que quiero es romper la piñata. It's kind of like a rhyme that has to do with piñatas. So it's like, I don't want gold, I don't want silver. All I want is to beat the shit out of the piñata. But like, no quiero oro ni quiero plata, plata rhymes with piñata, so whatever. And yeah, and so that's a golden theme rhyme that we have.
So she could have said, the runway theme could have been, quiero oro, no quiero plata, right?
Girl, yes. Anyway, and then, what was it, Valentina as well? Was Valentina giving all the references this episode? Yes.
Yeah, she
anyway.
had a lot of, yeah.
Yeah, because she said like, muéstrame tu poder satánico. When Pixie turned around as like Devil Jesus, muéstrame tu poder satánico. Do you know where that is from?
No.
Okay, so that's literally like, show me your satanic power.
Power, yeah.
But it is from a telenovela. It is from María la del Barrio. We all know Soraya Montenegro because we know the Que Haces Besando a la Lisiada. Please put it here. So you might know, for example, if you're not there, if you're not into Latina culture, you might know the gasps in Spanish meme, because that's literally just Soraya Montenegro being like, and then say gasps in Spanish. But then that scene where she gasps, it's like her opening the door and finding this girl who is in a wheelchair kissing the guy that she likes. So she's basically like, why are you kissing that, girl in a wheelchair? Yeah. And so that's kind of like the most famous scene that it has been viral for many, many years. But there's another scene that I think it's even better, where she is basically asking this witch to show her how powerful she is, because she wants to throw a spell on someone. And so she's like, show me your satanic power, you witch. Muéstrame tu poder satánico. So,
I have to see that clip now. I've never seen it.
That's literally what they were referencing when Pixie turned around. I was gonna say that, my dear friend. So this is an art moment by Chucho, not by Terry. My dear friend Nicolas Marin, aka Mr. Popper. Now that poppers are trending because of Troye Sivan. So they work with a lot of things of Mexican pop culture. And so they create this kind of like queer battle cries out of Mexican pop culture. And one of them is the Soraya image that I'm going to put right here, that I actually have on my door, that I'm going to put right here. It's the face of Soraya being like, and it says like, why are you kissing the heteronormative, the heteronormative J word? And I love that one. But also there's another one that says, you show me your satanic power or something like that.
I love it.
And I just love those prints and like, yeah, follow Mr. Popper because they're incredible. Yeah.
All right. Well, are you ready for an art moment?
Yes, art. Did somebody mention art?
How very dare you? You said you didn't want to call this segment that because it doesn't have anything to do with Mexico. How very dare.
I mean, no, you know also why I remembered it? Because I was gonna say that Pixie is giving me a Acid Betty in terms of like the first few episodes, you're like, oh my God, like what the fuck with this queen and her looks and blah, blah, blah. And she's kind of doing great and she's in the top or whatever, but like she's not winning anything or anything. And then she just goes home. And that's it. And it's like, well, okay. Yeah.
Just goes home.
Yeah. So, yeah.
All right. Well, let's get into this. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Right. Well, first up, our wonderful friend Shane Gallarde, he drew Matraka and he finally finished it and posted it.
Yeah.
And it looks amazing.
Oh God, yes, it does.
I know, it's so good. So next, returning to the stage is Chucho Chocolatin, and they drew Lolita / Dolores Plátano. It's really cute. I love it. Then we have Dante Estrada, and they drew Galavaro in the butterfly. I love that butterfly look that Gala wore. It was really cool. So like, I like that they drew this look. Then we have 3 illustrations by an artist who goes by En El Prado, and they drew 2 images of Margaret, and then they drew Matraka, I believe in, if I can see this correctly, my eyesight, girl.
Yeah.
In the look from this week, the golden look.
It's so, that one is so drawable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, we've shown Gibran Vargas's work before in a previous episode, and Gibran on his Instagram has posted, he's like doing a series basically, like every queen that he's drawing. And so go check those out. But what I wanted to show this week is a drawing that Gibran did of Burrita Burrona and Turbulence Queen. So
it looks incredible.
It's great. Yes, I'm so glad that Gibran drew Burrita Burrona.
And Gibran is the trade of the season on the fan art section.
Yes. Then we have Man Vega 19. They drew Pixie. Next up is Muerta Mosca, who we've shown their work before. They drew Cristian Peralta Transformista Oficial in their Quetzalcoatl look.
How fast were these? I mean, girl.
I know. Well, I literally found that one this morning.
No, but still, like just a couple of days. Like, yeah.
Last up, we have Pinky Peach, and they drew this really cool, like manga.
Yeah.
Pixie look. I think it's Pixie's entrance look. It's really great. So check all of them out. Go follow all of them. Give them all some love, some support. Don't forget about Danielle's, who we talked about at the beginning of this episode, who does the artwork for the Dungeons and Drag Queens show. But yeah, check out these artists, and hopefully we'll get some more artwork from them.
Yeah, I'm from Terry Blas.
I'll be drawing some more. I just need to finish up some other work, so I have no time. Well, next week on Drag Race Mexico, it's all about the girl groups. And the judges panel will be joined by Alejandra Bogue.
Yeah. So she is a legend.
Well, yeah, let's save some of the discussion about her impact.
I just want to say that I love her.
Next week. And you did, girl.
Guess what, Mimi? Guess what, Mimi? I did.
That's right. You're like, I did it because I can. Oh, like a big can? I got it in.
I've got to cut it.
How dare you. Before we go, give me a second because I want to bring him in. Hey, buddy.
Oh my
come here.
God! No, wait.
What? Oh, buddy.
So welcome to the pop world.
Healthy.
And this
Okay.
is oh my God, this is our homage to Pixie, the black and white
Yes.
queen, with our black and white dogs. Yay!
Well,
Oh my God.
well, as we give you this lovely black and white House of Black and White tribute,
Yeah.
Chucho, tell the people where to find you.
Yeah, you can find me at Chucho_QMP on Instagram and Letterboxd, and Chucho_Q on Twitter.
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads, and TikTok at Terry Blast, and at my website, terryblast.com. Thank you for joining us. Until next
Yay.
time. And as always,
Respeta tu cultura, maricón.